Alright people, so this is a Tampa Bay chemtrail update. I didn't watch the skies today, so I don't really know what happened. I'm driving home tonight. The past few days have been really clear. This morning was crystal clear. No activity going on in terms of spraying or contrails, if you believe that contrails can be as wide as the airplane itself, can persist in the sky for hours and hours and hours, and can expand to 10 to 20, 100 times their original width and maintain their visibility. If you believe contrails can do that, then what you see coming out of the back of these airplanes is contrails, okay? I don't believe that contrails can do that. I don't believe vapor has those properties. So I have to conclude that they're chemtrails. You got Al Gore on the Ellen DeGeneres show, laughing in his Al Gore voice, Alan, well, the sky won't be blue, exactly blue, the way we're used to seeing it. My name is Al Gore, and I'm a genius. I'm an idiot, I'm a moron, and I'm a billionaire. So anyway, that's my very bad impersonation of Al Gore, but and yes, he really did appear on the Ellen DeGeneres show and actually did say that. So you can look that up. You can find it yourself. I posted it myself. A guy by the name of David Keith goes on the Stephen Colbert show and talks about spraying 51 million tons of sulfuric acid into the atmosphere in order to save the earth. You can look that up yourself. There's as well, you can look that up yourself as well. There's a lady by the name of, I can't remember her name for sure, but I think it might be Kristen Megan. She's a former Air Force industrial hygienist, which is, as she describes it, roughly the equivalent of an OSHA inspector on the military side for chemical safety. So she's a former Air Force person who is now a full-time geoengineering whistleblower. So she talks about all this stuff as well. Everybody's talking about the same thing: sulfuric acid, aluminum, barium, and strontium. So that's what they're using to quote-unquote save the planet. They all talk about how it kills people, but oh well, too bad, so sad. Got to break a few eggs to make an omelet, yada yada yada. So anyway, so I'm looking at the sky coming home, and I'm thinking to myself, my initial reaction is, it looks pretty good. But then I start looking closer. I'm like, wait a minute. There are a lot of elongated, parallel running patterns. Like, look over there. See those elongated? And this is exactly what it looks like. I don't know if that's what this is today. I don't know. But look over there. It's just like a pollution haze, basically. I mean, look at the sun. You can barely... Where's the sun? Well, I can't say you can barely see the sun, but the sun is substantially blocked, but you can see it pretty well. But the point is, like, it's just like a giant... The entire sky is like a giant pollution haze. Now, is that cloud cover? Is it atmospheric occlusion, or that word that what's his face used when he was talking about the Tesla Roadster being out in space? Elon Musk. That's the word he used, the phrase he used, atmospheric occlusion, when he was being interviewed after the launch of, I believe it was, let's see, what was that launch called? Falcon 5, I think, and the 2 rocket booster engines that floated themselves back down to Earth, which is very cool to see. I'm not sure it was real, but it was cool to watch. I mean, look, the point that a lot of people are making, and I think it's a very good point, as provocative as it may be, is that people like, what's the guy's name? I'm having trouble with names here tonight. Chris Angel, or Angel Chris, or any of these magicians, right? I mean, they make elephants disappear, they make buildings disappear. I mean, so did 2 rocket boosters actually fly back down to the, or float back down to the Earth and land themselves? Who knows? Who knows? I mean, who knows? I don't know. I don't doubt that people that were there saw something. but I also don't doubt that when people go to a Chris Angel show, they see buildings disappear. Does that mean that the building really disappeared? No, obviously. So what's the difference? Well, the only difference may be that in one case they're telling you it's a magic show, and in another case they're not telling you it's a magic. It could be. It's possible. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it's possible. So I'm looking now. The more I look at this now, I'm headed due west now, so I can see a little better. But unless it's my imagination, which is possible as well, if I'm not mistaken, I'm seeing geometric patterns in those clouds. So in other words, like 90-degree patterns. If these are chemtrails that were laid down several hours ago, which is what this is what it looks like, then you can see the intersecting trails, which is what they do. They run at right angles to each other. My friend told me that where the trails intersect, that the metals at those intersections are activated. I don't know if I believe that, but that is what he said, so who knows. Which would mean to me that when they're heading in one direction, they're laying down one type of heavy metal or element or chemical, whatever, yada yada, and when they're flying in the opposite direction, or not the opposite, but the tangential, is that the right word? The tangential, or the perpendicular direction, whatever the right term is there, then they're laying down a different type of chemical element or a different type of, who knows? I don't know. I does not knows. But it's all very interesting stuff. And this does look like chemtrail activity, heavy chemtrail activity, several hours after the fact, because this is exactly what it does. It just kind of spreads out and becomes this pollution haze. So again, I don't know if that's what it is. It could just be cloud cover, but it looks like exactly what chemtrails look like after they've been suspended in the sky for several hours. They do spread out and they form this haze. And so it looks exactly like this, so you can see whether that is what this is or not. In this particular instance, this is exactly what it looks like, because I've watched them lay down the trails and then watch and look back up again after an hour and then 2 hours and 3 hours, and you can just see the trail that they laid down getting progressively wider and wider and wider and wider. That's a wide with a D, not a T, a D, wide, as in girth, wide as in girth, not white as in color. Gets wider and wider. It maintains its same degree of visibility. So that's the real clincher for me that tells me it's not vapor. It has nothing to do with vapor. Vapor doesn't spread out like this and form a pollution blanket, But anyway, that's the. I wish that I had gone outside. But the thing of it is whether I had. Actually, I was outside. I went out to lunch. The thing of it is when you're traveling in town, like right now, I'm going to my town. Now, in my town, I'm not really going to be able to see it because I don't have a panoramic view. I mean, I've got houses, I've got all kinds of obstructions to my line of sight. But when I'm up on the interstate, I have a panoramic view, and I can see. Now, right here, it's extremely explicit. Those perpendicular lines. I mean, it could be clouds, yes, obviously, maintaining every possibility as long as possible. But over here I saw a really clear perpendicular pattern in the cloud. Maybe you can see it. You do have to kind of look to catch the perpendicular pattern, but it is there. So the more I look at it, the more I think about it, the more I talk about it, I'm going to come to the conclusion that they were laying down some very heavy chemtrails over here in Pinellas County today. Not so much in Hillsboro, but Pinellas County toward the west, or maybe they started over there in Hillsboro, and the winds, I don't know which way the wind is blowing, doesn't appear to be any wind, to be honest with you. But anyway, there could be a wind at that height, whatever that elevation is up there. Maybe the wind blew it all. And that's the other thing, when they lay down the chemtrails and the wind tends to blow them all together, and it just forms this enormous pollution blanket. That's the best way that I can describe it. It's like a blanket of manufactured, intentional, malicious pollution. So that's the chemtrail, Tampa Bay chemtrail update for today. I hope you enjoyed it. God bless everybody and have a wonderful day. And you know, let's just be open-minded, keep an open mind, be aware, be alert, maintain every possibility for as long as possible, because we don't know. Maybe there is some reason, there is some rational, environmental, I don't think so, but let's just keep that possibility open. Maybe there is some reason for all this. Maybe these are clouds coming out of the backs of these airplanes. Now, I can't keep that one open. But, you know, keep all possibilities open for as long as possible, you know. I think that's your best hope for actually divining, if you will, the truth from the fiction and the things that are mixed and marbleized with fiction, or marbleized with truth, or things that are outright lies, or, you know, just keep an open mind. I think that when you do that over time, the fog clears in your mind, and you know, some things become clearer, and some things fade away, and some of the things that become clearer maybe were some of the things that you thought were least likely to be true, and some of the things that fade away are some of the things that you were the most certain were the truth, you know? I mean, who knows? But that's kind of the way I look at it. Just keep an open mind and maintain the possibility for as many things as possible for as long as possible. Okay, I'm out of here for real this time. Stop blathering.